I'm Ryan Eakin, and this is Baycats Banter, the official podcast of the Baycats. And today I am joined by Baycats pitching coach Brad Grieveson to discuss his first stint with the Baycats and his return to the Baycats as the Baycats' new pitching coach. Brad, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. Much appreciated.
Right, let's get started with you coming to the Baycats back in 2002, a season in which you won Rookie of the Year. Just what do you remember about becoming a Baycat and how that process played out?
The process started the year before 2001. I had just come back from school. We had our World Series run down there, so I got home late. I was initially scheduled to play baseball down for a team in Michigan in the Great Lakes League, and that kind of fell through. I needed to make some money in the summer. I came back, and that was the inaugural season for the Baycats. Nick Owen and Calvert contact me, and it was just really, really busy time. So I didn't join that year, and then I made a verbal agreement that I would sign the following year when I returned.
As you did, you returned in 2002, and you obviously won Rookie of the Year. Just what were your expectations heading into that season for both the team, the league, and yourself?
Honestly, I didn't know at that time. I didn't know a whole lot about the league. I mean, IBL would the closest team would have been Toronto, obviously, for our area. I just went in there and I just wanted to perform to the best of my abilities, and everything kind of fell into place for me, and I had a pretty decent season, to say the least.
Right, and then moving forward down a couple seasons, you guys won the championship in 2005, and I remember talking to Spatty a couple months back, and he mentioned how the expectations were not to win the championship that season at all. So just coming into that season, what were you guys hoping to get out of that season, and then just what was it like playing the Maple Leafs in the finals that year?
That was a very young team, a lot of young guys. We got along on and off the field. We spent a lot of time together. I mean, to say that the bond wasn't there would be false, because everyone, we had a bunch of guys pulling the rope the same way. To get into the finals, I think Spatty's right. I think we were too young to know the moment we were in, and you're coming up against the mighty Leafs, who had, the Butlers. You got Spaljerek pitching. I mean, I think we just played above ourselves, and we just played in the moment. I don't think, looking back on it now, you'd probably say that we shouldn't have been there. We shouldn't have won, but here we are, and it was a big step for the organization moving forward.
Right. And I always ask Dave, Mike Clark, Matt Lowe, whoever it may be who was on that team, about what it was like that night when you guys won Game 6 against the Maple Leafs in Midhurst. Just what was your experience that night, being in the bullpen, being in the dugout, wherever you were sitting that game, seeing Angus pitch that complete game?
It was a surreal moment, honestly. I've never seen medals or coats, or I mean, the stadium's changed names so many times, but I've never seen the complex that full. To have that many people there cheering us on, supporting us, it was a surreal feeling. I know that we lost Johnny Bash. He had to go back to school. We were going to be losing a lot of our younger players back to college. So Game 6 was almost make or break for us. If we didn't win it at home, we were heading down to Toronto, and we were going to be very, very short bench. So it made it extra nice doing it in front of our home crowd, and then the celebration after. I mean, we had a great night, to say the least.
Right. And I remember talking to Angus after they won in 2014, and he said, once you're a Baycat, you're always a Baycat. And you're the absolute definition of that, because last year in 2020, after Matt Lowe got hired as the manager, a couple of days after he named you the pitching coach, just what was your first reaction when he reached out to you, and how easy of an answer was it to say yes pretty much instantly after him asking you?
I was flattered by it. I was a little shocked too. Something I really wasn't expecting. I knew that the hiring Josh was a great hire, just on the field, off the field, business wise. I mean, Josh is a very, very smart guy, and a very good friend. It's nice to come home again. I mean, there was times I got to a point in my career where I started having kids and a family. So, I mean, my time wasn't quite there for commitment to the Baycat level. So, and work-wise didn't allow it either, but change of occupations and talking with the family. The biggest one was my oldest son, because I was coaching, well, still am somewhat coaching his team a little bit. The answer came relatively quick after sitting down with the family and discussing it. At the end of the day, it was an opportunity to get back into the fold and get around the guys again, and I'm thrilled.
Right. And you still were involved with the Baycats for the last 10 years, just by going to games, being a fan, following the team. Just what did you make of what this franchise became after you left, and seeing them win 6 straight championships and everything that came with the last 10, 12 years.
It's an incredible feat, to say the least. I remember coming up to games too, and I mean, they had that rivalry before they started their streak where Brantford was the team, right? And the one that still sticks in my head was the 3-0 series lead that, you know, kind of fell apart. I mean, who's to say they won it then? I think the streak might have very well been longer. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. And then eventually, obviously, you become the pitching coach. Just what does being a pitching coach in the IBL entail? Because you're working with a lot of different guys, younger guys, older guys, you know, guys in between. What does being a pitching coach in the IBL entail for the Baycats this year?
We do have a lot of younger kids that we're working, and we've put together this little practice team somewhat where, you know, the young prospects get to come out and be around the team culture and experience what we experience. As far as the older guys, I mean, everybody's at this level. They've done well enough so far that they've got here. It's just little tweaks here and there. It could be mental. It could be just slight mechanical. I'm not worried so much about the older guys because, I mean, they've done it long enough. If I see something, I'm going to let them know. But mainly it's going to be trying to groom the younger kids and have them come up and be the next phase of pitchers to step in and, you know, carry on the legacy that this team has.
Right. And as I just said, there's two different types of guys. There's the older guys, the younger guys. Just staying on the topic of the older guys for a second, there's a lot of great talent that Matlow's brought in with the help of Dante, whether it be Frank Garces, who we announced yesterday, and then Jason Aquino, who we announced earlier in the offseason. Just how nice is it going to be to have those guys that can make your job easier when it comes to helping the younger guys too?
I would say even if we still had a guy like Biss as well, I mean, those are core Baycat guys. These guys are the guys that we're bringing in are complete professionals, right? They've been there. They've been to the top. They know what they're doing. Even to have our young guys sit there and watch them, even to pick their brain a little bit too. I encourage a lot of conversation, talk. I mean, there's no such thing as a bad question. So if you have something, just ask. That's why we're here. Learn from us, learn from our failures, learn from our glory. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're trying to groom you guys to come up and you know, carry on what this team has built.
Right. And obviously there's younger guys too. And that's really where your job becomes exciting for you, I'm sure, is working with some of the younger pitchers. One of them being Hunter Campese, a guy I know that you kind of helped bring into the Baycats. When it comes to Campese, the Kevin Millers and Mason Robinsons, just discuss how important it's going to be to help those guys take the next step for both the Baycats and just for themselves and as they want to continue their baseball careers.
Well, yeah, this great opportunity for them. They're going to play at their desired schools. Coming home, filling innings with us and playing at a high level here it's going to teach them at a compete level. I mean, you go to college, you play against guys that are within, you know, 4 years of your age. Now you're playing in a league here where a lot of semi-pros are in here. So what you can do possibly in college and kind of live off a fastball, if you have a heavy fastball, doesn't necessarily translate to this league when you come up against guys that are complete hitters.
Yeah, that's actually a great point because I was talking to Matlow about a guy like Kevin Miller, and he talks about how he's 6'8", you know, touches mid-90s at least. Just what would you be saying to a guy like that who maybe doesn't have the most polished secondary pitches when he comes to the Baycats? Just what would you say to a guy like that as you try to help him develop more than just maybe a really, you know, fast fastball?
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, obviously we want to work a secondary pitch you can throw consistently. I've always been a fastball changeup guy, but I mean, I'm not that. What works for me doesn't necessarily work for anyone else. So we're going to see what we have and we're going to tweak a little bit if we have to and get them moving in the right direction. Just throw strikes. If you're walking guys, you're not helping yourself. You're not helping the team either. So, I mean, fill the zone.
Right. And obviously we're in a bit of a lockdown again. And because of the pandemic, you can't make it out to training facilities all the time. But Josh obviously had that great sponsorship with the Cage that allows pitchers to come in. I know you guys had something last week where you guys brought in Shergold and a couple other guys just to see what they can do and get them some work in. Just how beneficial can that be to you as a pitching coach where instead of just seeing them in live action, you know, during games, you can, you know, bring them to the Cage and you can really help them from that perspective in terms of, you know, tweaking their mechanics and what have you.
It's great in that aspect, Ryan, because I mean, it's not just pitchers in there. We have hitters in there, like Rio's been in there, and we've had Branfy in there. And from a hitting perspective, we get the feedback from those guys too. I really like this. I wasn't expecting this, and you know, it's nice feedback. Then when they're done their session, they come back and we get to talk about it. This is where your strong points are. This is, I think, where we need to focus moving forward. It's a fantastic partnership. Well, I can't thank Josh or Chuck enough for bringing this together. It's great for the Baycats too. I don't know. It's nice because I remember back when I was playing, we just had the bubble gym over there off of Hamner, right? So something that's exclusive to baseball and us, it's great.
And I'll ask you this last question. I appreciate you coming on. I talked to Dante a couple months ago for my podcast, and I asked him the last question: how great would it be, to be a part of a management group that won 7 straight championships? And you, especially you being a Baycat, being one of the original Baycats, just how amazing would it be to make that full circle and come back to the Baycats and in your first season as pitching coach, make IBL history?
It definitely would be special. Can't say I don't think about it. I gotta thank the other players before this that got us to this point and allowed us put us in a position where we can potentially get the 7th and maybe more. I don't know. Josh has done tremendous work bringing players in. So, I mean, I don't see it as a rebuild because I know we did lose. I think it's more of a retooling. We have a ton of talent coming back. We have a ton of young kids in the pipeline coming up. So the future's bright as well. I think moving forward, we're still going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming on today, and hopefully we can see each other soon at the ballpark come June, July, whenever we are able to start a season. So I appreciate you coming on today.